Okay, hi there, everyone. This is Miles from Light Harvest Solar, and I would like to show you this project that we have got going on. It is a sailplane, and the goal with it is to try to promote aviation. I'm sorry, promote solar through cool projects. What we want, like airplanes. This is a sailplane that I got on auction. It was like $2,200, so not much. It's been wrecked, and I have a fairly extensive background in prototype composite aircraft construction and spacecraft construction. So the plan here is to take this, put electric motors on it, solar panels on the wings, and have it be a proof of concept of what is possible with electric aviation. Now, the reason why we chose this particular airplane is because it's such an efficient aircraft. It doesn't even have motors like a lot of the sailplane, or like every sailplane. So it takes a very low amount of power in order to keep this flying. This particular aircraft should take somewhere in the realm of 32 pounds of thrust to keep it airborne once it's up. So with the advent of all of the technology that has come down the pipeline, like particular lithium batteries and all the drone motors and the speed controllers, we can easily get enough power to fly this thing. So what we're going to want to do is put solar panels down the wings, put a battery pack in it, and put some motors. There's a few different options on what we're going to do, but it's basically likely to be right around the 40 to 50 horsepower range. You can see they're very long wings. That's what gives it its efficiency and makes it stay up so long. You can also see that like there's a big chunk taken out of the wing. We may very well clip the wings and make it shorter. And we've got a lot of repairs to do. But another one of the, so it's a fairly ambitious project. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. It's something that I've been thinking about for a long time. We're going to get this back to our shop. We're going to evaluate whether or not it's practical, whether or not it's going to be safe, whether or not I'm going to be able to pull off the project, exactly what needs to happen to get done with it, how much I would need to modify it to get it to where I want it to be. And then we're going to see if we can pull it off. And if this just doesn't end up being something that we feel like we can safely pull off, then we'll maybe move on to something that's a little bit more airworthy and doesn't have the sort of damage that this has. So let me tell, part of what I really wanted to go over with this was the fact that when we went to pick this up, we were way out in the middle of nowhere. There was no electricity. There was no way to run our power tools except for with our Aspen Power unit here. So basically this is what we did. You can see we built cradles for it, and none of this would be possible without big power tools, right? We needed a bunch of power tools to get this done. And we also, might I add, did it off the power that we generated from our roof on my van. Okay, so let me just show you a quick little tidbit about what this thing's capable of. So the biggest things that we use, you just go ahead and hit that button, turn it on, the screen will come on, it will initialize for a minute, and then we'll get our main screen. So it's a touch screen, you just turn the AC on, right? And then pretty much immediately you have that. So I used this to take this OSB, and I built cradles. There's a cradle in the front, there's a cradle in the back, and then I also needed to use this saw, which is going to. You can see this is a really good demonstration of how much capability you can get if you have a power system that's portable. So you can see how easy that was. We were able to cut all of these supports. We were able to build essentially this entire structure that would not have been possible. This would have been a very, very difficult, project to get out of the wrecking yard. We just wouldn't have been able to do it without the ability to remotely use our saws and our drills and things like that. So that's where these things come in handy. once you have one, you start to realize how often you do workarounds with not having electricity in places that you need it. But when you do have electricity, you definitely start to realize, oh, I have the capability to turn a heater on in my van in the morning while it's really cold. I have the ability to put a heater in the windshield when it's frozen. I have the ability to stick an extension cord out and run big saws and drills or chainsaws or whatever you got. I have the ability to cook a meal at a park on a park bench. I have the ability to get coffee anywhere, anytime. And it's really quite amazing to be able to generate power off the roof of your vehicle, put it into a box by simply plugging in a plug, and then you have, you've got standard house electricity that is capable of doing most anything electrical that you want. You could run sound systems, you can, you do whatever you want. And in this particular case, this is a good example of the incredibly obscure things that you could get done when you have the capability of getting it done, because I simply could not have gotten this done any other way. I couldn't have done it. I don't have any idea how I would have got this done without saws, and not only saws, but powerful, fairly big, powerful saws. So here we have it. It's a 1980 ASW 20 is what it's called. It's got a 40-to-1 lift over drag, which means essentially for every 40 pounds I need to lift, I need 1 pound of thrust. It's 1,000-pound gross weight, that's the maximum it is. So like I said, whatever the math behind that is, 25, 30 pounds of thrust is about all this is going to take to stay up. And this is going to be a project where I'm not going to stress myself out. It's going to get done when it gets done. Hopefully we can use this as a technology demonstrator of what can happen with solar power and electricity. And ultimately we want to do it on a very, very tight budget to the tune of $7,500 to $10,000. So there you have it. And I'll kind of take you around it real quick. There's the big wings. Here's the cockpit. Here's the front. We may end up putting one of the possible configurations is to basically chop the front off of this and put a motor in the front. We may put a pylon with 4 smaller motors, 4 10-horsepower motors, pusher puller on each side, kind of like a Learjet, or we may end up putting one all the way at the tail. Like I said, we should be able to make it happen on somewhere between 40 and 60 horsepower. And hopefully in a couple of years, we'll have something flying that will show that you can take stuff off the shelf for a very inexpensive price and move into the sort of next level of vehicles, which is electric vehicles. It's going to be electric airplanes, it's going to be electric cars, it's going to be electric quads, it's going to be electric side-by-side, it's going to be electric bikes, electric skateboards, one wheels, all of that stuff. And we'll be able to charge it straight from our van, and we'll be able to, and then into our power units, and have a lot of fun doing stuff that wasn't possible before. So there you have it, Arbor Solar.